So let's go ahead and talk about some of those resources that are available to all of our FlexGE students. The one I alluded to earlier, which is academic advising. We have a group of academic advisors here that help students to select classes as well as make a holistic plan to meet their educational and other goals while they're in the FlexGE program. So class selection, activities that they might want to participate in to strengthen their application or to grow in areas of spirituality or service while they're here in the FlexGE program are all things that our academic advisors are happy to help those students with. And the academic advising resources throughout campus is also available to the FlexGE students. Speaking of some other student success resources, we have our own Student Success Center here in the Harmon building, which includes a learning lab where students are able to go and study throughout the day. It's a nice, quiet environment, and they have help nearby in the form of tutors, success coaches, and peer mentors. So even if a student isn't in the learning lab at the moment, they can still access those resources. Peer mentors help them adjust to the university and answer some of the questions that they might have and set goals for themselves. Success coaches are full-time employees that can help students to make some of those plans to be successful in their classes. And finally, tutors. We do have tutors that are paid to help students in the Salt Lake Center or evening classes, so the FlexGE program that can help them with content-specific learning. There's also resources available throughout campus that are available to FlexGE students and all other students at BYU, including the Writing Center, which is in the library. So the Writing Center is more than just proofreading papers. The Writing Center will help students to come up with research ideas, go about effectively researching their topic, and then taking that information all the way through to a finished writing product. That's within the library, which is also available to BYU FlexGE students. We have a great library here, and we encourage students to use that. Many of the classes have TAs, which is student employees that are paid to help the professors and help the students to learn the information in the class. And then there's labs associated with many of the classes that FlexGE students will take. And then another resource that's really important to be aware about is the Accessibility Center. So the Accessibility Center helps students that have disabilities, such as learning disabilities, mental disabilities, physical disabilities, to have equal access to the opportunities for education at BYU. And so if you are coming from a place where you had accommodations, like an individual education plan in high school, Accessibility Center can help you to navigate that and what it looks like at BYU. We also have some resources that might help you with your health. BYU has a student health center that's just across 9th East on campus, and the students can see doctors and physician's assistants and do lab work and so forth there, so they don't have to travel far from campus to receive basic medical care. We also have a counseling center. The counseling center services are limited for FlexGE students, but FlexGE students are able to access a lot of their online resources and apps that help them with their mental health. And finally, all the wellness facilities and programs are available to students. So students can use the gym facilities and the weight room and anyway, yeah, everything that they might want to use, ellipticals, treadmills, and so forth, the indoor track. There is just a $50 per semester fee to use those facilities. There's also some resources to help students just get around and live in Provo. All students receive a UTA pass. Their BYU ID card counts as a UTA pass. So they just swipe it as they are ready to get onto the bus or the train, and they can travel all throughout Provo. They can travel actually all the way to Ogden if they would like to on the Front Runner train. And for students that will be taking classes at the Salt Lake Center, that's important to know because the Front Runner goes up to Salt Lake City multiple times a day and stops within a block of the BYU Salt Lake Center. So it's a super convenient way for students to get around, especially if they don't want to drive through Salt Lake City traffic. Students can stay in on-campus housing if they are going to be here for spring or summer term. And if they're going to be here for fall or winter, they can use the BYU off-campus contracted housing that's available to students to live in housing that's only for students that are BYU students. And finally, for students that are either living in on-campus housing where they wouldn't have access to kitchens and food preparation areas, they can purchase a meal plan. But even if a student is living in a place where they would have access to a kitchen but don't particularly want to be cooking or cooking all of their meals, they can buy a meal plan as well. We also have resources to help students meet their financial needs, including scholarships. We encourage all of our applicants to apply for scholarships when they are submitting an application to the FlexGE program. It's embedded in the scholarship or in the admissions application for fall semester and going forward. But if you're applying for spring or summer of 2026, there's a separate application. So make sure that you access that if you're applying for spring and summer, and then be ready to fill out the scholarship portion if you're applying for fall semester. And then, of course, FlexGE students are able to work on campus in a variety of jobs. Some of those jobs are jobs that might allow students to prepare for future employment and be integrated into campus, as they have supervisors that are familiar with campus and can help them connect with resources. So it's a great opportunity for those students that want to be working close to where their classes are. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the activities that are available to FlexGE students. This first picture is from the True Blue Foam event that's popular every year at the very beginning of the semester as part of New Student Orientation. New Student Orientation is just what it sounds like, an orientation for new students, but it is a lot of fun and a great way for students to get to know campus and the resources that are available to them, and also make friends during that few-day period. We also encourage all students to grow spiritually by participating in devotionals, which occur almost every week during the entire year. Those are put on by general authorities of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, BYU faculty, and other BYU employees. And then forums occur a little bit less frequently than the devotionals, but are still amazing. We bring in experts from around the world to talk about some of the things that are interesting to BYU students. So a lot of students really enjoy the forums as well as the devotionals. And then, of course, students that are living here will be assigned to YSA wards, so they will have that opportunity to worship with other students in Provo. A lot of our students enjoy some of the fun activities related to sports. Our FlexGE students can purchase a Rock Pass and go support their Cougars at basketball, football games, but also some of the Olympic sports. They can go watch swimming, track, volleyball, whatever it is that they like to watch, they can do with the Rock Pass. And then they can participate in sports on their own. We have a large intramural program, and students can create their own group or join another group of students that want to play sports together and compete in a fun and productive way. All of the BYU SA activities are also available to FlexGE students. There's events happening on campus all the time. And if students watch their Y messages that come or Y news that comes into them, they'll be able to find out what's available. Plus, there's posters all around campus. We have a ton of clubs on campus. Clubs can be based upon interests or talents or academic pursuits that students are interested in. I checked today, and we have 364 active clubs. So it's pretty likely that if you have an interest, you'll find a club that's related to it. And if you don't, you might be able to find a way to create your own. So they're not limited. And then we also have YServe at BYU. YServe is an office that allows students to participate in meaningful service either on campus or in the community with other BYU students. We highly recommend that FlexGE students get involved in some area of service, and Y service one of those areas that they can go about doing that. So absolutely great for all of you. And then we do have some activities that are just for FlexGE students. We have opening socials for fall and winter semester that is just a fun way to get together with other FlexGE students. And then we also have a FlexGE student council group. Anybody's invited to join the student council, and that student council plans one social activity and one service activity every single month. So it's a fun way to get together with other FlexGE students to both provide service to others as well as enjoy time together.
Is it possible to take FlexGE classes online?
Absolutely, yes. So every class has a type. So evening and Salt Lake Center classes are a type of class. And then they also have an instruction mode. There are 3 main types of instruction mode. One is in person, which means that they're going to be in class approximately the number of credits that the class is. So a 2-credit religion class, they're going to be in classes in person for about 2 hours a week. There's a live remote option, which means that their class is going to be delivered at a specific time of day in an environment like Zoom. There's also blended classes, which means that part of the time is in person during a specific hour, but it's fewer hours than if they were in an in-class or in-person program. But they would have more outside of class time that they would need to devote to their class. And then finally, we have an on-demand remote option. An on-demand remote means that the student can complete the classwork at any point in time, but they do have the typical due dates that they might expect during a semester for an in-person or live remote class.